You're about to be hijacked by another trigger. Stop in your tracks. I'm going to tell you what to do next. You've tuned in to When Your Mind Becomes the Scene of the Crime podcast. I'm Dr. Linda F. Williams. I take survivors of abuse and trauma from pain to purpose so that you take back your power, tap into the truth of who you are, and live your best life now. We always know when we're about to go off in a trigger. We feel it welling up, and generally we just let it fly. I'm challenging you here. Next time you feel like you're about to be going off into a trigger, trust me, just trust me, try this. Stop. Stop right where you are. Do not allow yourself to go with that flow. And then do what I call the apple inventory. Now, the apple inventory comes straight from the book, Whose Apple Is It Anyway? There are two powerful tools in that book, and I even go in deeper detail about the apple inventory in the book. Now, this is called the apple inventory because of the acronym APPLE. In this process, you are challenging attitude, perception, perspectives, lies, and expectations. It's called Checking Your APPLE-tude. For more in-depth information on that, just go to the book, Whose Apple Is It Anyway? I'm going to give you the bare bone skeleton of what to do once you stop yourself mid-trigger. I guarantee you that this will, number one, calm you down. Number two, refocus you. Number three, empower you to do what's going to benefit you in that situation, as opposed to going with the self-defeating, disempowering flow. Let's get into it. Okay, you stopped yourself mid-trigger. Ask yourself these questions. One, do I need an attitude adjustment? Is my attitude perpetuating negativity in this situation? How can I leverage my will to make a better choice as opposed to engaging in this negative trigger? Now, I want you to note that these questions are going to take you some time to go through, but I really want to call your attention to the word my will here. How can I leverage my will to make a better choice? Why is that important? It's because when we have been traumatized and before we recognize the root of our triggers, that we just get into autopilot and we automatically ride the trigger out. Feel it coming up. We just go with the flow. Just bleh. But what I want you to get out of this is that you have the power of your will. The trigger doesn't get to hijack you when you know that you can leverage the power of your own personal decision to do something else. Just trust me. You will have plenty of time to determine whether or not this trigger thing is legitimate, or if it's just you running off through the minefields and detonating IEDs. Let's move on to number two. How do I position myself to look at the event from another perspective? Is my perspective correct, or am I misperceiving the event? We already talked about in the last video the importance of understanding that trauma and abuse have distorted our perspectives, and we are not likely seeing reality, and we keep operating, making decisions, behaviors out of a false reality that we're seeing through traumatized glasses. And what this does, it helps you to stop yourself and look at this event from another perspective. We're going to talk toward the end of this about how you can leverage a tribe, a powerful tribe, to help you to walk through these questions. Number three, are my perceptions off? Am I reacting based on the facts of the situation, or have I subconsciously read something from my past into the current event? Take a breath. You are deliberately challenging your perceptions. You are deliberately digging below the surface to determine what subconsciously is driving the trigger. Number 4, and as I say, I go into more detail on each of these questions in the book, Whose Apple Is It Anyway? Number 4, what irrational beliefs are at play in the current situation? What lies am I telling myself or believing? And what is the truth of the matter? There you go, laid out. You are challenging your own mindset. This is leveraging your will. This is dealing with that trigger from an empowering perspective, as opposed to remaining disempowered by its hijacking your whole behaviors and emotions. Number 5. What conscious or subconscious expectations are driving my reactions to this event? Remember, in another video, I talked about conscious and subconscious expectations and how everybody is talking about The Secret and manifesting stuff, and that there are a whole lot of people out here that is not working for, and this very thing is the reason, because it's not what we consciously want. I mean, none of us are walking around out here, oh wow, I want to get into another toxic relationship, I want to get into another go nowhere unfulfilling career, I want to get myself another friend that's going to stab me in the back. Nobody is walking around here thinking that mess. We are thinking what we want on a conscious level, but everything in our lives is drawing what's going under the surface, those subconscious expectations. So we want to challenge those in this situation. Now, there are a couple of things that I'm going to want you to do in order to help you through these questions. And again, read the book, Whose Apple Is It Anyway, to get a deeper dive on this. But you want to get a list, you want to make a list of truthful, trusted others. Now, this is considered your tribe, so I'll call it tribe from here on out. You want to find somebody who's spiritually aligned with you. You want to find somebody who may have had similar experiences as you are going through or in your life, and they've come through it and they've healed from it. You want to find somebody who loves you enough to push past your defense mechanism, because every time they call you on something, you're going to go off and go out to lunch. It's the human condition. Just try to understand that you're having that response, because that's another IED shooting up, because it's challenging your perspective. And then you want to find somebody that you know has your best interests at heart, somebody who's proven that in your life. Don't be second guessing whether or not they do. Now, the reason why you need this list is because when you feel like going off and going out to lunch on them, you're going to have to challenge yourself. Wait a minute now, I chose this person as my truthful, trusted other. They've got my best interests at heart. They've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And they love me enough to tell me that even though they know I'm going to give them the blowback. So let me shut up, suck it up, and listen up to what they have to say. And trust me, you're going to have a whole lot of shut up, suck it up, and listen up moments as you grow to thrive after abuse and trauma. Next thing I want you to do is write up a trigger list, okay? You want to write a list of personalities and people that irritate you and cause you, trigger you, maybe people who did you wrong in the past, what were their personality traits. You want to make a list of places that might trigger you, list of things, objects, things that might trigger you, an emotional response, irrational emotional discharge in you. You want people, places, things, and situations that get your goat or cause you triggers. Neither one of these lists is going to be done overnight. So you just get your notebook, it's like you see right here, and keep it with you. And as you think of things, write it down. Now, this trigger list is empowering. Why? Because it gets out of your head and makes you actually think about the things in your past that have caused you trauma and hurt and pain. And it makes you to understand that these people, places, things, and situations are always tied to something in your past. So that when you feel yourself getting triggered by something, whereas you might have been triggered and didn't understand the truth of why that happened, you know this. You got to know. Knowledge is power, you guys. It's no different in the healing process. Knowledge is power. And you must understand your subconscious dynamics in order to stop those triggers in their tracks. Trust you me. Anyway, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to give you a link to your trigger list, your Build Your Tribe worksheets, and I want you to download those, and I want you to use those to do these 2 exercises. And once you do that and you have your list of truthful, trusted others, I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you. You are not going to feel like this. You're not going to feel like it. So I'm challenging you to leverage your will. Next time you feel like you're about to be triggered, you can shut it down. I don't care how you want to blow up inside. I don't care how hard it is. I challenge you to just shut it in its tracks and decide, I am just sorry, Mr. Trigger. No more do you get to tear up my life. No more do you get to hijack my mind, hijack my emotions, hijack my brain. Enough of that. Your time is up. I just want you to leverage your power to do that and then walk through the Apple inventory. Get these free worksheets. Link that below. I've also linked below where you can make an appointment for a complimentary 30-minute call, a discovery call with me. And we're going to talk about your challenges and where you want to go and determine whether or not we might be a good fit to work together. In the meantime, always remember, your greatest power is realizing the truth of who you are. Know that truth. Thank you for joining me today on When Your Mind Becomes the Scene of the Crime podcast. Schedule your free breakthrough session now at lindafwilliams.com. That's lindafwilliams.com.